Hey, today we're going to speak about God. Oh my gosh, this is pretty exciting.
Okay,
Oh.
also,
Ja, los geht's.
well, Volker was just talking about saying Happy New Year on this video right now, and I'm like, it's February, like almost halfway through February, and then he tells me that there is this lady that greets him every morning saying Happy New Year.
Yeah, every time I go running over there, there's an old lady and she says Happy New Year. And she repeats it, Happy New Year, until I answer Happy New Year. And then she says, all right, all right. It's pretty
Really?
cool. Yeah, I like her. Maybe I'll bring her flowers another day. It's cool.
Interesting.
Yes. Anyway, yeah,
Anyways,
do your
yes.
thing.
My thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna join
Okay,
you.
my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was wondering the other day, how is everybody actually managing through this whole pandemic and lockdown and quarantining and second waves of corona? And I had to think,
Oh.
how is actually people doing? I mean, where is God in the picture? I had this thought, like, are people feeling left down? I don't know. I had to think of when, in the Bible, when the Israelites went through crazy situations, they were taken into captivity. I mean, they were attacked. I'm sure that there were moments when they wonder, where is God? Where is God? And now we read the Bible and we're like, oh, God was actually right there. Oh, God actually sent some prophets to say this and that. Maybe not everybody knew, but some people knew. And I had to think, what's going on right now?
What's going on inside of me?
That's right. And of course, we all know the answer. I mean, God is alive and well.
God
and
is
He
in the midst of us. We will
everything that
not
is
be
happening.
moved. We will not be shaken. Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Well, will we be shaken or not? That's a
Decision.
question. Well, sure. It's a matter of perception, point of view, understanding, knowledge, revelation. Many things could be said about that. But then, I mean, we started this whole conversation. Remember that conversation that we had?
I remember it like it was a few days ago.
Uh-huh. That's how good he remembers. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. No, it's interesting, because many people are really freaking out, and we also sometimes, if we listen too much to some
News.
family members.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, news, no, not really. More family members.
That's true. Family
Yeah.
members who bring some very news that are unusual. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Anyway, so we were speaking about there's all this blah blah blah. If like God doesn't bring you to something that is too much for you, He doesn't give you more to carry
Than you can bear.
and all that stuff. And we all know that's a lie. It's a lie of the enemy, because if you look in the Bible, people always had more than they could bear. Just read the Psalms or look at the apostles. Look at Paul, how he writes. He was in despair and beaten and tortured and whatever. He couldn't bear that. That's ridiculous. To say that God doesn't give you more than what you can bear. Where is that in the Bible? It's not in there. Okay, in case you want to look for it, it's not there. So anyway,
Yeah, there's also the point that God is actually not giving them that. Just like to make that point clear, God is not giving them things that they cannot bear or that they can bear. That's just not who God is.
of course, that opens up a whole theological
I
thing.
know.
Like,
This is some meat to chew, people.
Is God sovereign? If He is sovereign and He holds it all in His hands, then okay, if He doesn't give it to us, but could He prevent it from us? Does He allow it? Why does He allow it? It's all this thing. No, it's important.
I know.
These are good questions to ponder.
We spoke about this. Is God really good?
Did we speak about
If we,
this?
I don't know if we actually didn't speak about this in a video. We have spoken about this so often that in my mind I even remember as we haven't done this. But anyways,
Well, we can speak about it right now. Well, but we don't do too long, because if we do too long, people are not patient enough. It's a new fast food culture. People are stressed, even in lockdown. They have their time schedules. It's like, man, I have to now have breakfast. Now I really have to stop breakfast. And now,
really?
I don't know, what do people do in lockdown? We're in lockdown right now, so we wake up and then the day starts. And when we go to bed, it ends. Yeah, okay. That's our lockdown culture. Isn't it?
Let's go back to your deep thoughts, please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Deep thoughts. So where did I think so? Okay. So yeah, I don't think that there are really clear answers to all these difficult questions, because maybe his ways are still higher than ours. I know even that sentence can be discussed. I've seen that and heard that, all these discussions. But maybe it just really means that his ways are higher than ours, and maybe he's just really interested in us, in our hearts, and not so much in our comfort. But our hearts to be alive and our hearts to be close to him. And he wants to draw us so close to this place where all questions cease, because we just see him and we're just excited about who he is. I believe that that's the answer, that we are coming to this place where we are looking, wow, God is amazing, he is awesome, and everything else is just like, unimportant pretty much. Yeah, it doesn't play a big role. When we really see, when we have a revelation of who he is, then all this other stuff doesn't have a big influence on our emotions and all. The problem is just when we don't have a clear view of God, when we lose this revelation of who he is, and we look on all this other stuff and we get sidetracked, then our emotions go cuckoo and our brain goes cuckoo. So really I believe the only answer really is to look to Jesus, look in his word, let his word wash over you. His word is powerful, is a two-edged sword that cuts away the flesh from the spirit, and his word is sent out and it doesn't come back without doing what it was sent for. His word is awesome. I just had such a cool time. I'm reading at the moment, I'm reading every morning Psalm 119. It's so good, just praying it over myself, over my family, and it's just like, just Jesus is there, it's so, he's in the Word, he is the Word, but he's also in the Word, and he meets us through the Word, and it's good, Does it change the circumstances? Well, maybe not, but they don't really matter so much anymore, and that changes the circumstances, because but special example. I often say, I know, and you know by now, and you know too, and however, so Stephen is my favorite example. So he was a man full of grace and full of passion and full of the Holy Spirit, full of the power of God. And so he had an exciting time. He was a good missionary. Yeah, so people came to know God through Stephen, and he was just awesome, was exciting. He probably could write really exciting newsletters if he would have. He probably didn't, because he had better things to do. However, so he was dragged out of the city and thrown stones at and being killed. So did God allow that? Did God cause that? Did he have sin in his life? Probably. So whose fault was it? Does it matter? I think if we would ask Stephen, it probably doesn't matter. because when you read there, like they threw stones at him, but his face was shining like the face of an angel. Yeah, and he saw the heavens open. He saw Jesus standing there, ready to receive him, and he looked at him and was like, "Wow!" And he could just pray like, "Lord, forgive them, because they don't know what they're doing." Isn't that beautiful? So for Stephen, I think he didn't care why they did that, if God allowed that in that moment, or if he made it happen, or if it was a sin of his forefathers that made this happen, or whatever thing. But what he cared for was like, Jesus, the one that I have lived for, the one that I'm speaking about, the one that I'm inviting people to, he's there to receive me. That's so awesome, that's all he had eyes for. Jesus, that's who he lived for and who he died for. And so he could really say to live is Christ, to die is gain. It was real in his life. And
But I mean,
yeah,
it's like,
come on.
sure, yes.
Yeah.
When I see this picture and I imagine Stephen, but of course, I mean, he had a personal encounter with Jesus. Even if he had not seen him face to face, which I don't know of, but obviously, I mean, you can see in his life and how he's being presented. He knew who Jesus was, and he had definitely given his life to God, no question. And when he comes to this place where he's going to be stoned to death, I mean, he knew why this was happening, because there was an opposition to the message that he was preaching. Was he at peace with this? Well, I guess he did come to peace with that, as intense as the situation must have been. But then I'm thinking, because you were saying, is this somebody guilty, is not somebody guilty? Then I'm thinking, oh, hold on a minute. I'm sure he had a mother, he might have had siblings, I don't know if he was married or if they had kids, I have no idea. From their point of view, I'm sure that they would have wanted to know, like, who is guilty, who is not guilty. I mean, there is so much there is so much there. Sure, I mean, if we see it just, if everything just circles on me and my relationship with God, sure, it's like, yeah. But there are those around us that are also affected by the decisions that we make. I'm just thinking, like, if I'm the mom from Stephen and my son is being stoned to death, that must suck.
See, but I don't think that everything circles around me and my relationship with Jesus. I think that's wrong already. It all circles around Jesus. That is truth. That's a reality. And that is a reality for Stephen, his mom, his grandma, his cousin, his aunt, his uncle. That is a reality of everything and everybody. If they acknowledge it, if they realize it or not, but this is truth, So if they don't want to live in that truth, that's their problem, But it's like, you can jump from a house and there's still gravity, so it will hit you eventually, So that's a reality. You can say, I don't feel like gravity today, or I don't believe in gravity or whatever, But the truth is, everything circles around God. He is the beginning and the end. He's the source and the goal. So it doesn't really matter. The other people will, whatever, have perspectives and feelings and whatever, but who cares about it? The truth in the end is the truth. It's eternal truth there.
Sure. I'm just trying to think on the other side as well. I don't disagree with you, but if I imagine the situation right now, it's similar in a way. I mean, there are people that are dying, there are people that are being accused of building up conspiracies. I mean, there are doctors who are being put under questions, their careers, their lives. What's truth, what's not truth. Like, what in the world is going on? And then there's God. And we are in the midst of all this craziness.
No, we're not.
And nothing is happening at the same time.
It's all good. With our eyes on Jesus, it's all good.
And that's the point.
With our eyes somewhere else, it's all crappy. But yeah, we need to keep our eyes on Jesus, and it's all good.
Yeah. And that's a point where I thought it would be a good place to come to.
Oh, amen. That was fast. Good.
Yeah, but there are two
Oh.
sides, you know. There's like, because there are people that are fully convinced that if they set their eyes on the Lord, everything's fine. But there are those around that are like, pulling out their hairs. But then you just said it very well before. But so, well, it's everyone's responsibility to put their eyes on Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Volker.
Thank you very much.
You know, we never plan our conversations, but got it wrong. we just throw it out there. So good job, good job. All right,
That's it.
that's it.